Welcome to the Lawless Astrology channel. I am so excited today because we have something a little different. We have Kira Sutherland, who is a medical astrologer. So if you've ever been curious about how to, fix certain ailments using astrology or what rules what, Kira knows all of that stuff. She has a very comprehensive program. She's actually the top in the business for medical
Oh, hmm.
astrology. She is an Australian naturopath, and she can explain a little bit about what that is. But what we're going to be talking about here today is 2025 and all the changes that are coming up and how we can best take care of ourselves by sign and looking
Right.
at our rising sign, looking at the sixth house. And so, welcome, Kira.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so I'll put all her information down below because she does have some really cool courses. I'm on her mailing list and I'm always getting, interesting information and updates, and so definitely sign up for her stuff. So, okay, so what do you have your eye on for 2025?
Oh, 2025. Oh my gosh. Look, I'm
There's
interested,
a lot, right?
happening now, happening today, tomorrow. We're talking on the Pluto ingress, aren't we? Are
Mhm.
we? Is this today or
Yeah.
tomorrow? I can't even
Yeah, no,
remember.
it's
I
it's
was,
technically for us tomorrow, but I
yeah,
get
tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So, I'm interested in that. I mean, so let me go back for a little sec. Medical astrology, for those that don't know about it, we go all the way back to ancient Egypt, probably Babylonian times, but definitely ancient Egypt. We described different signs ruling different parts of the body and different organs. And then we also have rulership of the planets to different body parts and organs and to ailments as well. So depending on your sun, your moon, your rising, or your whole astrological makeup, that kind of you can look at it for your strengths and weaknesses in illness. And then depending on where the planets are now, which is what we're about to talk about. So depending on transit, that transits progressions, that triggers off different areas of your chart, but also depending on where things are, it also creates an overarching theme for all of us health-wise, which is really, I think, where we're going today. But I might actually, while we keep talking, I'm going to actually pull up the transit so I can like visually see it at the same time. So if it
Yeah,
looks
and
like
I
I'm
can
not
also
looking at you, I'm going to
view
look at my
some of the things that
computer.
are going on up in the sky this year. But basically, I mean, I've done
Yeah.
a lot of videos and got a lot more coming up about how there's just so much change. And, I know change can be actually very exciting and
Yeah.
it can excite our nervous system. But if we have an overactive nervous system, then it can also maybe throw us into a little bit of fight or
A
flight.
spin.
Right.
Yeah. So with Pluto, so Pluto is moving in the next 24 hours into Aquarius permanently, right? We've had it dabble in there and go away. So Pluto, if we're using modern planets, which I do, medical astrology is based on the traditional planets, but we do incorporate, or some medical astrologers incorporate the outers because I couldn't live without them. So Pluto is, as people listen to your channel probably know, death, rebirth, transformation. So medically, Pluto, I've just had some thoughts about this from a conversation we're having earlier. Pluto it does rule the sexual organs, but it does rule all of our detoxification channels. So where things come out of the body, from like tears to snot to mucus to semen, poo, everything, all your detox, especially large intestines like bowels. Um, but it's transformation and change. It's also DNA and genetics. So there's this whole looking at, the alpha omega of life. And yeah, so that's Pluto. And then we have going into Aquarius. And Aquarius is actually our circulation. And our circulation, we have heart, which is Leo, and Aquarius circulation. But circulation isn't just bringing blood to parts of our body. It goes through our whole body and it brings nutrients, and it's what creates energy. It gives you, it delivers the food to create energy to the body. So Aquarius is very much about that communication channels, and it also rules the higher octave of the nervous system, which you were talking about. So it's like Gemini and Mercury would be the physical nervous system. Aquarius, Uranus is more the electrics that we actually, the communication actually happening. Does that make sense? The message is being sent. So it's going to be interesting. We've got it moving for a long time. And, your nervous system is about stress and how your body communicates to itself. And I think we're going to see some pretty interesting, things going on with everybody's nervous system. We are so wired out and tired and high strung. And I think it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. But I think we're going to find some pretty deep ways to look at who we are on a cellular and genetic level, and maybe looking at, there's a lot of specialized medicine coming. AI has the ability to sorry, I'm giving you like a monologue, but there's a lot of information that's going to come out about our genetics and who we are and our body types, and how if we can communicate that to everybody, we will know how to better take care of ourselves individually. It's going to be a lot more specific individual medicine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Instead of kind of these sweeping statements of, oh, you need to eat this much protein or you need to do this. It's going to be more, what are your genetics? What are your genes? And what is best for that specificity of who you are? But with AI and medicine, because that's like making some big leaps at the moment, it's going to be interesting how individual it becomes.
I think that's a really interesting perspective to think about how we are going to accelerate medicine and things are going to be changing so quickly. What I thought was really interesting about the talk that I saw you give was you were talking about how when you look at individuals' health profiles, looking at their astrology chart, you look at the rising sign as well as the sixth house. But the rising sign surprised me, and that sounded like that was a very important thing. So can you talk to me a little bit about why you use the rising sign?
Sure. So, in traditional medical astrology, the sixth house is the house of illness or disease. But the sixth house is also the house of hard work and daily ritual and routine. And nothing says preventative health to me like the sixth house, right? Yes, it's illness and disease, but it's also how you go about your daily life and how, sixth house was always service to others, but it's also how we serve our own body, everything we do on a daily basis. And health is incredibly tricky and exhausting and boring, and it's very hard work, right? It's hard work to stay healthy. And that's the sixth house thing. And if we don't do that, that's when things go awry with our sixth house. But let me just say, illnesses can come from anywhere in the chart. I am not of the belief it's all from the sixth house. Your rising sign or your ascendant is in charge or rules your actual physical body. So the first house is about the self, which is your actual tangible physical body. And so that first house, or the cusp of the first, the ascendant, is like, it's literally like your physicality and how it interacts with the environment that it comes into contact with. So we often experience more health ailments via our rising sign than we do our sun sign. We're very good at expressing our sun sign. Most of us are comfy with it. Stuff still will go wrong in that area, but it's our rising sign that's like our Achilles heel of weakness, because it's when we get stressed, the adrenals, which is your stress glands, I'm being very medical on you, sorry, but your adrenals and your stress glands, cortisol, adrenaline, that shoots us, the minute we're stressed, shoots us straight back to that ascendant and how we come into contact with the world. So any stress brings you right to that ascendant, and stress, we know, suppresses the immune system and exhausts our nervous system, and our body can't discern between, is this a stress because I didn't pay this bill on time, or is this a stress because a tiger is chasing to eat me? Our body can't register stress is stress, no matter what it is. So And we live in this world that's like so stressed out at the moment that our rising signs are really taking that hit.
So let's, if you're okay with it,
Yeah, yeah.
let's sort of break down sort of if people have all this change coming and knowing that like this might be a little bit more of a stressful time for some people. Could we go through the different zodiac signs
Sure.
on your rising and give some suggestions? Would that?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay,
Sure,
all
sure.
right.
So, Aries, so this will apply for if you're an Aries sun or moon as well. Or look, if you have a stellium, if you have a bunch of planets sitting in the first house, no matter what sign, this also can apply. But in Aries rules the head, everything to do with the head. So it's the brain, but it's also the adrenal glands, which are those stress organs I was just talking about. So, Aries get really wound up, and it's about adrenal depletion for the Aries. So they push and push, and then they're exhausted. So for them, do you want like food ideas or nutrients or what or activities? What do we want?
I think let's do an activity and then like maybe one naturopathic herb or something that you could
Okay.
recommend.
Okay.
How does that
So,
sound?
and let me be clear, if I suggest a herb, sorry, American, you must check before taking an herb. Always check if you're on any medication, because herbs can react to medications and make medications not work as well. They can make them work better. So I'll try to go for some pretty gentle herbs, but just realize you just don't go out and take stuff. So
Yeah, and this is
yeah,
astrological wisdom, not necessarily deep
this is
medical.
not medical advice. You
Right,
need to seek a healthcare professional. Yes,
right.
this is for this is legally what I say is this is for entertainment and educational purposes.
Yes. So, but at the same
So,
time,
yeah,
it's kind of cool to know that if you were an Aries,
yeah,
and your adrenals are stressed, here is something
yeah.
that a
So
naturopathic
an
doctor.
Aries will get, they get headaches easily. They hold all their tension up there. They get exhausted. So there's this depletion for Aries. So for them, oh my gosh, what am I going to say here? I mean, exercise always important for the fire signs, but maybe pulling it back in more gentle exercise if they're feeling really exhausted, depleted, and just alone time. Aries love alone time, but often life gets too busy and they don't take enough. So whether it's, binge watching Netflix, reading a book, whatever, but just allowing yourself to be still for an Aries is a gift for them. The adrenals love all the B vitamin foods. So like dark green leafy veggies, a lot of your whole grains, but herbally, sorry, in Australia we say
You
herb
can
with
say
it.
herb.
We
It's
we
kind of
say the H. I know, it's so
yeah.
funny.
I like
Um,
it.
one of my favorite things for them is actually green tea or like matcha tea. It gives them a little bit of an energy hit, but there's a stability to it for them that is very medicinal. So I would say a matcha or green tea for them is amazing, kind of rejuvenating. And again, not too much caffeine, not caffeine after 2 o'clock, but that's pretty much for everybody.
Okay, yeah. So maybe try some matcha tea instead of coffee. I like
Yeah.
that.
So
Okay, so if you were Taurus, yeah.
Taurus. So Taurus is the neck and the shoulders, neck, throat, thyroid. Often it's around metabolism. Um, so they get sore throats more easily, things to do with their voice, thyroid, big one. So metabolism. So activities for Taurus is hard to make changes, right? They don't love making a lot of changes. So for them, it's not about these big overhauls with their health. It's like picking one or two things to think about working on in the future. So for them, activity wise, actually remembering to move, be it, some great yoga or going just for walks. Just consistency, finally finding the rhythm of whatever activity sport wise works for them that makes them feel good. Taurus often do really well with weight training. Because it's a fixed earth, actually lifting weights and strength training, as long as they're healthy enough to do it, they will often love it because it makes them feel even more powerful.
Very cool. Very cool.
Herbally, one of my favorite herbs for them is actually thyme. Like the herb that you also cook with, thyme. Thyme is incredible for when they get sore throats. It's anti-infective and great for sore throats, which they do tend to have throat and tonsil issues.
Ooh, okay, that's
The
interesting.
other herb I really like for them is licorice, but you can't take licorice if you have high blood pressure or if you're medicated for high blood pressure. And licorice does interact with a bunch of different medications, so be careful. Even licorice is a tea, but licorice is actually great for the throat, for when we're ill. It's also good for the adrenals. So
Kira,
yeah.
do you still see clients one-on-one, or are you mostly just mentorship in classes?
I'm mostly mentor and teaching. I do see clients one-on-one, but I have an astronomical wait list. I have like a 1-year wait list at the
Okay,
moment.
so
Maybe
go to her
longer.
website, get her download, maybe look for
Yeah,
people that have trained with her if you want really specific
yeah.
advice for
My
you.
website has a big list of people that I've taken quite far in medical astrology that are also health practitioners. So there's a list of people that they can contact. There is an area where you click to go on the wait list, but I will let people know it's over a year right now. I created a bunch more education courses on my website, specifically so people could go educate themselves and do it themselves rather than wait to see me. I did 4 levels last year that I redid in medical astrology, specifically because I can't get to everybody on my wait list.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, she's the best of the best. So what do you think about Gemini for the
So
upcoming?
Gemini is your nervous system. So they wire up and frazzle their nervous system. They're very much in their head and their brain, and they forget that they own a body. Gemini is also the lungs, arms, and hands, but let's stay to that nervous system. So yeah, they often need lung support or they have allergies, but their nervous system is wired out. My favorite herb for them. Ooh, there's so many good nervous system herbs. But one of my favorite herbs is called skullcap,
Mm,
Scutellaria lateriflora or something like that. It's quite bitter. Don't go buy it as a tea. But skullcap is just this beautiful, soothing herb to kind of coat their nerves and stop the frazzle. The other favorite herb, actually, which you can use as a tea, is lemon balm, better known as Melissa. Amazing for them. And food wise for Taurus.
Gemini.
No, I know, but I didn't say any food, so I jumped back.
Oh,
Foods for Taurus, not too much starch. They will love their big starchy, heavier meals, but lots of lighter fruit and veg, like leafy green veg. Gemini foods, they do really well with more oils and brain foods. So like walnuts, olive oil, all the things to soothe the nervous system. Fish oils or eating oily fish. Yeah.
okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
And they need to remember they have a body, not just a brain and a nervous system.
Right, right. And
Okay.
also I found Geminis do well with like a workout partner too. If
Yes.
to get their bodies moving, that would be,
All the air signs, because they're the social signs, do better in buddy system for doing sport.
yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Cancer. I mean,
Cancer.
I'm Cancer rising. I'm Cancer, but
Oh.
yeah.
So Cancer is the breast or chest region, but it's especially the stomach and also the uterus. But let's stick to the stomach. So it's about digestion and it's connected to emotions, the big emotional eaters of the zodiac. If they get upset, they're going to eat sugars and ice cream and starches and sweets because we know that increases serotonin, which makes us feel better. So for them, making sure they're trying to make food choices based on health, not emotions, would be really good.
Guilty.
Not too much dairy food. I'm looking, cheese. They kind of rule dairy food as well, or the moon does, which is their ruling planet. So for them, trying to stay away from too much starch and sweet would be my food advice. Lots of fresh fruits would be great. What else? Herbally, digestion. What do I love for them? Oh my goodness. They need a little bit of warming. I do like Melissa for them. Melissa or lemon balm is a nervous system-y, but it's also warming to the digestive system.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think chamomile. Like every time I think of Cancer, I think of chamomile tea because it's this nourishing, soothing kind of hug for the digestive system. Activity wise, the water signs, getting in the water, getting in the ocean, a stream, a bathtub, a foot bath, anything you can do around water is really going to help. Like they feel so much better.
Okay. All right. So now we're on to Leo.
Leo is the heart, a little bit of the thoracic spine, so the upper back. Leo, it also rules creativity and passions and rules lovers in regular astrology. So it's all about passion and, passionate creativity. Leos, all the fire signs do well with lots of sport or movement because fire is really like spirit in action. So whether it's, I often find they do really well with dancing, right? Music and that creativity and dancing can be great for them. Sex is an activity, but I'm sure everybody wants that. Well, maybe not everybody, but what else is great for them? They need lots of magnesium-rich foods. So your dark green leafy veggies, dark chocolate and almonds are also high in magnesium. Magnesium, great for heart and blood pressure. Again, watch interactions with medications if you go for a supplement. And herbally, my favorite herb for Leos is actually a herb called motherwort, better known as Leonuris cardiaca, which literally translates to heart of the lion. Now, it's actually a herb for like anxiety and heart palpitations because Leos put all their stress into kind of that heart chakra area. And your cardiovascular system is actually run by the nervous system. So they do well with nervous system herbs. So Leonuris cardiaca is like this. I learned it as it's the herb you give when you need a hug.
Aw.
It's called motherwort, literally. Like it's like a mom's hug. So it is very bitter, just to warn people, also not great as a tea, but it's it's for stress, anxiety, calming the nervous system.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. And now Virgo. Virgo's going to want to pay close attention.
Yes, let me get to my detail.
Yeah.
Virgo is the small intestines. And the small intestines, the stomach kind of is like a blender, and then food goes down to the small intestines. And that's where we selectively choose what to absorb across our gut lining or our intestinal lining. And that's where food actually becomes us. It's very detail oriented, what the small intestines do. I would say there's debate over who rules the pancreas, but I see it kind of is very connected here because of digestion. So they do really well with lots of frequent snacking, keeping blood sugar levels stable, but they often get too busy and forget to eat. And then they have these big blood sugar drops. So making sure they're having good protein at meals, consistent meal times. We're setting an alarm to remind them to eat because they get so focused on their work, they forget to eat. What else? Virgo, foods, they do really well with a lot of, foods high in probiotics like yogurt or kimchi or pickles, stuff that helps with the gut flora. They tend to love, fennel and olives are great for them.
Oh, great.
Herbally, things that, Virgo also has part rulership of the nervous system because it's ruled by Mercury. So, and the nervous system and the digestive system are very intertwined. So this is like where vagal nerve really comes in. So breathing exercises are incredible for them, or anything to do with vagal nerve tone, amazing to calm their wired out nervous system. Herbally, there's a great, again, their digestion is very sensitive because stress affects their digestive system. So a lot of the bitter, like even taking what are often known as Swedish bitters, which are a combination of bitter herbs to help stimulate and encourage digestion. So things like gentian, vervain are both things that really assist with the digestive process.
I love that word, vervain. It's such a good word.
Vervain.
Okay.
Yeah, vervain is verbena. Yeah. So Libra. Libra rules everything to do with balance in the body. So physical balance, hormone balance. It has part rulership of the urinary system. So it has the kidneys and a little bit of the bladder. It also gets some, it has, because of its Venus rulership, it has a little bit of thyroid metabolism as well. Now, this is another air sign, social, definitely needs a training partner, wants to go for walks with people, runs for people, doubles tennis. They, again, air signs need to remember they have a body. Libras, it's ruled by Venus, like Taurus. They love pleasure, they're not always the most motivated to exercise. So yes, getting them in a rhythm is going to make them feel so much more balanced, but social exercise, huge for them. And then herbally, what am I going to suggest here? Because there's so many different things. Herbally, there's, let me think. I mean, it really depends what's going on with them, but a lot of there's a herb called Rehmannia glutinosa, better known as Rehmannia, and it's a little bit of a kidney tonic. There doesn't have to be anything wrong with the kidneys, but it just, like in Chinese medicine, it's a kidney fortifier. And when we're exhausted and depleted, people often talk about your kidney energy being low. It is an adrenal herb as well. Aries is opposite to Libra, and so the adrenals come into play. Libras get very tired adrenally, so Rehmannia can be a great herb for them. Or anything to do, just kind of balancing the system. Oh, like nettle tea, I love for them. Just kind of cleanse the system, balance. Libra has a lot to do with acid alkaline balance. So let's go for nettle, actually.
Okay. You can go for both.
Yeah. Scorpio. Oh, foods for Libra. Lots of veg and fruit, very alkaline style diet, because the kidneys are in charge of that acid alkaline balance. Lots of, fresh salads and stuff like that. Scorpio, reproductive organs for both sexes or all genders. And the second part of the urinary system. So part of the bladder, and then the urethra, which is the tube out of the body. And all that genetics, DNA that I talked about connected to Pluto. Detoxification channels. So maybe we'll stick with detoxification channels. Oh, exercise. Scorpios need to exercise hard enough to really have a good sweat. Sweating for them, which is a detoxification thing, is a big thing. So they will feel better getting a good sweat on, or going into saunas and things like that. Detox, exercise, herbs. I really like, let's see, detox herbs. Food-wise, sorry, I'm going to jump. All the sulfury foods, like it's called the cruciferous or Cruciferaceae family. Broccoli, cauliflower, that whole family, kale, those little balls that I hate. What are they called?
Brussels sprouts.
I know they're really healthy, but you either love or hate them. All of those foods are very high in a sulfuric compound that's great for detoxification. Herbal wise, I'm gonna go for there. What herbs do I like for them? We'll go for bowel herbs. You know, Scorpio rules the large intestines, and they are, you're probably waiting for me to make jokes about this because you know this, they're the most likely sign to constipation,
Oh, interesting.
right? Because they're a water sign, which is emotions. They're a fixed sign, which is about control. And then it rules the bowels. So the bowels tend to the slower side. So um, licorice loosens the bowels a little bit, but there's a herb called Rumex crispus, better known as just yellow dock. In the US, it's called yellow dock. And that is like a detoxification herb for your lymphatic system, but it also just slightly loosens the bowels as well. Again, on medications, check it. But yeah, Rumex, I like Rumex for the Scorpio.
Interesting. I never
Yeah.
heard of that one.
Oh,
That's
really? It's called, yeah, yellow dock, and it's got these big leaves. It definitely grows. I think it grows everywhere in the US, actually. If you're a herbalist, it's a big herb, but yeah.
okay. All right. Yes, you can
Yeah.
tell me it's not my specialty. And I appreciate
Yeah.
you letting me put you on the spot for all of these,
I
but
know, I didn't even bring out a chart with me, but it's good.
I'm
I like
so
doing it. I like
sorry.
forcing, no, I like forcing my brain to have to go, oh, what am I going to say?
Well, that's the thing.
Sagittarius.
You've got so many different things you can pull from. So I know
Yeah.
putting you on the spot to just pick one. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So yes, Sag. So if you're
Sagis.
Sag rising, Sag moon.
Yeah. Sag rules the bum or the bottom, your glutes, whatever, your ass. I don't know what I should say. In Australia, we say your bum, which I
You can say your
prefer.
bum. I like your
Your
bum.
bum, your
It's very
bottom,
cute.
your bum, your hips, your thighs. So it's about movement and locomotion. Think about, Sag is half man or half person, half horse. Think about the big flanks and, thighs of a horse. That's where their power is. It's also the liver. And they do love pushing it, they love doing life large. So sport and movement, incredible for them. Running, biking, they're a little bit speed and reckless junkies. They love pushing the boundaries. So skiing, stuff like that. But yeah, running, biking is big. Um, so food wise, not overdoing it. They don't want to be told they can be limited. So not over, alcohol because they're jovial and watching how much alcohol, being more cautious, just not like when a Sagittarius shows up and they're like, I want to lose weight. I'm always like, oh, we have to gamify weight loss for them because the minute you just go, here's your boundary, the horse kicks down the gate, right? They don't want that. So you have to like play with it. Herbally, my favorite would be dandelion. Dandelion root, not the leaf. Dandelion leaf is a diuretic. Dandelion root is a very gentle digestive liver tonic. So, and we're talking dandelions that grow in your yard, but buy the root that's already been cured. You can even buy like dandelion coffees and teas and stuff like that. But yeah, it's incredible, gentle liver detoxifier.
I love this. So I'm Sag rising, and I can honestly tell you that I hear that like I don't like the restrictions and like if you gamify it, meaning like, but I'm also like have a Virgo moon. So, but I
I
love
know.
there's this app called My Fitness Pal. And so the
Yeah.
only way I can lose weight is like if and there's like a gamification kind of, so it's funny that you said
Yeah.
that. So,
Mm.
we've got to take these little things where we can, the little help.
Well, that's the fun. Medical astrology is not about, I'm not going to diagnose a disease. I'm not going to predict if you're going to be ill or when you're going to get better. I don't do that, right? This is not medicine. This is not mind read, this is not psychic reading. What it is it gives you hints as to who you are and how you operate. So you have a better way to approach your health, or at least that's how I use medical astrology. There are people that will predict and name stuff, but I think, as a health practitioner, I very much stay away from that.
Yeah, we're more aligned in our philosophy with astrology, which is this is an opportunity for you to live your best life.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I can't predict
understand
the
yourself.
future. Right.
Mm.
It's how do you make sense of the world around you and yourself and
Yeah.
actively participate with the cosmos. So
I mean,
I
some
like
people are into timing with it, but I think I'm always, and I do have people every now and then, they're like, well, when am I going to be better? And it's like, well, I can see transits, but I can't predict when you're going to be better. Because what if I tell you you're going to be better in June? Are you actually going to do anything to try to be better by then? Or you're just going to assume you're going to be better because I told you there's a transit. I'm all about it. Nobody likes this, but I'm all about making you do the work to be healthy.
right. I think I think that's there is no escaping doing the work in life. Like
No.
that's people who come to an astrologer wanting a quick fix. There is no quick fix, but we can tell you, hey, here's some tools for your toolbox to like have a better
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
I think that, just knowing like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't eat sugar because I have a lot of Cancer planets, which I've learned over my 50 years. But I still do it anyway when I'm
Well,
stressed. But
you're not going to not have sugar. Like to
right,
say never have sugar is just not. Your Virgo moon might be like, I can do that, but the rest of you is like, no.
right,
But it's
exactly.
about knowing that's your trigger, right? Oh, emotionally, I will do that. So maybe I need to go call a friend and connect that way instead. Or I need to go be in the bath and light some nice candles. And,
Right.
there's you, health is all about, yeah, it's not about being perfect either, right? Health is exhausting. Oh my gosh. I ate chocolate last night, if it makes everyone feel better. Yeah.
It does. Chocolate is wonderful, especially dark chocolate. Okay, well, we don't
Mm.
want to short shift Capricorns
Yeah.
here because
Okay, caps.
they're sitting here
Caps.
waiting.
So Capricorn is the bones and the skin. So all structure, it's all about structure and form of the body. So the skin holds us in and protects us, and the bones and ligaments and tendons hold us up. Um, so, oh, what to say? They need some warming up. They're the opposite sign to Cancer. Cancer is the stomach. So Capricorns tend to have really cold, slower digestion. They do well with food wise on like soups and stews and slow cooked, kind of half pre-digested root vegetables to nourish their body. Are great for them, especially you in North America are coming into winter. Um, what else what about them? Herbally, um, oh, what am I going to say about them herbally? One of the things I love is turmeric, which is also a food. Turmeric, or as a supplement, we often buy it, is called curcumin. Again, it interacts with a lot of medications. Be cautious. Turmeric is great. It's warming. It's ruled by Mars. It's bright orange. But it is great for arthritis and pain.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, we think of turmeric as like maybe it's just a trendy thing, but like it is on the hierarchy. Everyone always talks about how great turmeric is. So,
Turmeric is amazing as a food. It's phenomenal. It's anti-inflammatory. It relieves pain. I originally learned it years and years ago for acute period pain. We would give it in high dose for period pain. Um, but turmeric is, oh, it's very anti-inflammatory, and most ailments have a state of inflammation to them. So it's amazing. Be aware, turmeric binds to iron. So if you're a little bit iron deficient, be cautious you're not having your iron-rich foods at the same time you're having turmeric foods.
oh, okay. That's a good
People
tip.
don't realize that. Yeah, or if you're taking turmeric as a supplement, you got to watch people's iron levels.
Okay. All right. Aquarius.
Aquarius. Well, we kind of talked about them before, but they get another go because we were talking about with Pluto. So Aquarius is circulation. It's also the calves. Sorry, Capricorn was all the bones, but you often will read that it's the knees, right? They all protect, because we've slowly worked our way down the body. So Aquarius is calves and ankles. They twist their ankles, weak ankles, varicose veins,
Mm.
but circulation problems, cold hands and feet, but it's also that higher octave of the nervous system. So I do love circulation, strengthening foods and herbs for them. So, your citrus and what you call bell peppers, I would call capsicum. They all have, the pith or the white bit you always try to pull off, or the spine. That's really high in certain nutrients that help strengthen veins and arteries, like the integrity of the actual vessel. So those foods are really good for them. And let's see, circulation, cold hands and feet. There's a herb called ginkgo biloba, which we all think about for brain circulation, but it helps all microcirculation. Or like ginger is great for them.
Okay. That
Yeah.
reminds me. I've got to make myself some ginger tea. I love ginger.
Yes.
Okay.
Ginger's
So now
amazing.
finally Pisces.
Pisces. So Pisces rising, especially, just because we were really pretending we were doing rising. Pisces rising is actually considered one of the weaker signs to have on your ascendant. Pisces it rules the feet, but it rules the immune system and what's called your lymphatics. So they do have a tendency to they're just not as robust of like Taurus and Leo are really strong rising signs, and they often don't get very sick. Whereas the Pisces will have lots more little ailments, but they often then learn to take better care of themselves because they run into things. Like I'm a Pisces rising. And so I'm a strong Aries, but my immune system is a little fragile. So I was just thinking today, because I have clients today, and I mainly see my clients by Zoom these days. So I have a few people coming face to face, and I was out on a walk this morning, and I was thinking, I better email them to make sure they're not sick, because I'm in the middle of also helping someone going through chemo, and so I can't help her if I get sick. So I was like, I'm just gonna email my clients to tell them, there's people that can like show up anywhere and there's sick people around them and they never catch it. That's not the Pisces or the Pisces rising, right? They've got that, there's lack of boundaries and they catch things more easily.
Yeah.
So food wise, Pisces rarely feel full. So they can accidentally overeat because there's this lack of boundary thing around them. So being cautious of their portions is really important. And immune foods, ginger, garlic are great. Onion family, great support for the immune system. And then teas for the immune system. You could go with echinacea, but probably my favorite immune herb. In Australia, we say, no, I'm going to go backwards. We say astragalus, but I think in the US we say astragalus,
Okay.
which is just this is great immune tonic, helps support you when you're sick. Yeah.
Very cool. And I remember you saying that in the talk that you gave that I thought was fascinating is like, yeah, Pisces rising may feel like, oh man, we got the short end of the stick because we don't have that sort of, immunity. But at the same time, because that you may take it more seriously is what you
Yeah.
were saying.
Yeah.
I find that that's true. Like I've always struggled with my weight, so I've exercised my whole life, right?
Yes.
So I think that in some ways I have an advantage over people that,
Yes.
just
Yeah.
it comes naturally to stay thin, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the slightly weaker average constitution, I think in some ways is better off because you learn to take care of yourself, right? So Pisces, any sport to do with water. Sorry, I didn't do sport for Pisces. Anything to do with water, flowy movements, dancing can be great for them as well. I think I didn't do sport. Capricorn, hiking. Love putting them in the mountains, hiking, or just up and down hiking, great for them. And Aquarius, oh, sport for Aquarius. They'll be quick. They want to do quirky things. They'll be like Tai Chi / yoga / Pilates. But again, remembering that they own a physical body, they're way up in their inventive brain. So grounding exercises, just walking barefoot on grass or at the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, this has been really fascinating.
That was fun.
I know that when I downloaded your free download and looked at like the rulership
Mm,
of, like you said, like,
I can find it. Yep,
Aries.
keep going. I'm just
Okay,
going to visually try to find it for
visuals
you.
that, and I just found it to be fascinating because this is not my area of expertise. So, so yeah, I hope we send lots of people over to your website to check this out if you're interested in more
Yeah.
medical astrology. If you have questions, if you've, kind of been one of those people that has suffered with mystery illnesses, or your health is
Yeah.
always very important to you, then maybe Kira's wisdom will.
Yeah. There's a lot on the website too, like connections to other people's YouTube channels, and there's a lot you can listen to for free. On the website. And yeah, there's a big download table of the signs and body rulerships and lots of natural therapies and stuff like that. It's a really fun download, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's really comprehensive and interesting. So I highly recommend it for everybody. So, well, thank you, Kira, for your time.
Yay. Thanks for having me. Always fun. It was great when I met you earlier this year, and I was like, of course I'd love to come on.
It's just,
Yeah.
she's lovely. She's lovely. So, as always, everyone, there's a reason and a season for it all. So, even as all these big changes come, kind of tune into your body, see what works for you. Consult Kira's download, consult this video. Really think about how you can take control of your life and participate actively versus kind of just getting spun out with all the change coming. So, I think that's kind of the big overarching lesson. So the universe is conspiring to help us, and that's why I got put in front of Kira not that long ago. So, and that's why you got put in front of this video. So
Thanks for having me.
thanks, everyone. Take care.